Well, this is a video on the command line interface and a game called BashCrawl. Um, Two aims really to this video. One of them is it's going to be a little bit of revision for students that are studying their GCSE computer science, looking at operating systems and specifically command line interfaces, and a little bit of a look at sort of integrated development environments and a revision control system. Second thing is to show people how you can play a game, a text-based adventure game called BashCrawl, to try and teach people how to use a terminal. I would like to stress here, though, if you are a student watching this, you do not need to be able to use a terminal as part of your course or in the exam. You just need to know what a command line interface is and why you might use one. Okay, let's quickly recap what an operating system is. Well, it's a piece of software, manages all of the resources and services on a computer. Main functions are things like memory management for loading up programs from secondary storage into main memory to run them and allow you to switch between them to multitask. The operating system is responsible for all of the peripherals and devices and all the hardware that your computer interacts with, and it may do this using device driver software. The operating system can also sort of manage different users, so you might have administrators and normal users that have different permissions and things. And it also manages all of the files on a computer and gives access to these from your programs in a sort of common kind of way and manages where they are and where they're stored, etc. And finally, the one we're going to talk a little bit more about is it provides a user interface. And this is essentially allowing a user to interact with their program. Couple of different or four different ways that you might see this. Most common one is probably a graphical user interface. When you're thinking of an operating system, you might come up with the idea of Windows 11 or macOS or something like that, or the touchscreen operating systems on your phone such as Android and iOS. So these are graphical user interfaces, normally have sort of windows and maybe a mouse and icons and pointers, that kind of thing. Second type is menu-driven interfaces. This is the sort of software you might see on things like set-top boxes or televisions that sort of have a limited number of choices where you can say, oh, I want to record a program and I need to go to ITV and I want to go at this time and that's the program I want to record, etc. Third one, natural language. This is things like Alexa or Siri where you will talk into a microphone and the device will sort of work out a response back to you and play that back over a speaker. Finally, the one I want to talk a little bit more about now is the command line interface. You can see an example of that here on the screen. We've got the Raspberry Pi operating system running here, and we've got a terminal. It's called a terminal open, which is a box where you can essentially type commands in, and the operating system will then sort of output text back to you. There was a time when that's how everybody interacted with computers before we had graphical user interfaces, but they're still used today, not that much, but they're still used because they're much faster and more efficient than using a graphical user interface if you know how to use them. So you can type the commands in, you can write scripts to join the commands together, or you can sort of take the output of one program and force it into another program. Useful if your computer maybe is a little bit of a lower specification, perhaps it doesn't have a very good graphics card in it, because it uses a lot less memory and a lot less sort of processing time. Other features are things like it can save the history of your commands and things, so that's a command line interface. Next, just want to talk a tiny bit about features of integrated development environments, and this is just meant to be a quick bit of revision. What is an IDE? It is a piece of software that allows a user to develop software, and it integrates, it joins together a whole bunch of different sets of tools into one sort of common place. So for example, your code editor, this could have syntax highlighting, this could be where you're going to type your code. It might understand a little bit about the language and be able to do auto-completion, or maybe even go the whole way and use AI to generate some of the text, some of your code for you. After you've done the coding, though, you're going to translate, you're going to compile or interpret your high-level language into a low-level language so it can be run and debugged if necessary on the computer. And the IDE kind of pulls all of these tools together. It might show sort of some error diagnostics if they've got some syntax errors during compilation, or runtime errors if your program throws an exception, etc. One additional one we're going to have a little look at is something called revision control systems. Obviously, if you're coding, you'll want to have a safe sort of copy of your code backed up somewhere, and that's one of the features of a revision control system. Also, as you're coding, you're making changes, so it's nice to be able to have sort of points in your code of time where you can sort of go maybe roll back to older versions of the code. Useful for sort of developers that are maybe collaborating with other people, so lots of people can share that sort of common code base and make their own sort of versions of it, and then maybe merge changes and things back into the main version of the code, etc. Next thing we're going to look at then is BashCrawl. So if this is kind of what you've come for, it's, I guess, the fun bit where you're going to get to see how to run this text-based adventure game called BashCrawl. The idea of it is going to teach people how to use a terminal or the command line, and what some of the different commands are and how they work. It's going to do that by sort of making you navigate through different directories, treating them as if they were sort of rooms, and run programs to sort of gather sort of tools and things, or fight with enemies, etc. But the idea of it is that by the time you've sort of played the game for a little while, you'll be able to be a lot more comfortable using the command line interface. As I said earlier, students that are studying GCSE computer science, you do not need to be able to use one. I'm just hoping if you play this game a little bit, you might sort of remember a bit more about what a command line interface is. Okay, let's move on and see the game itself. In order to access BashCrawl, if you search for BashCrawl in a browser, the top hit will normally take you to here, to GitLab, where it's an open source program that is hosted at GitLab, which is a revision control system. And there's two ways you can sort of play it. One of them, is probably the quickest and easiest way, is just to click here where it says launch binder, and this is going to run a sort of free little operating system for you, and allow you to sort of go in and interact through a command line interface and play the game. So the only downside of this one, though, is that if you do this, it won't save any kind of state for you. So you'll get to the terminal and you can go in and you can start typing in commands, and it's already sort of there installed for you. So we can see here we're in a folder called entrance, which is a room within the game. And you are able to sort of change directory into sort of other rooms like so, and list the files, and maybe sort of have a look at the content of the files, such as the scroll, which is the instructions that you get for each kind of room, and there you can see the first bit of instructions. You can also, from here, you can also kind of get a copy of BashCrawl, though. You can go to here and you can say clone. So clone just means you're going to make a copy of this code onto your computer. So I've just copied that to the clipboard. In my case, I am going to show you how to do this using Replit. So Replit will create a virtual machine for me. I'm going to create a new REPL. I'm going to tell it the type I want is Bash. Bash is the name of a commonly used terminal called the Born Again shell. And when I run that, it is essentially going to create for me a little virtual computer that will give me access to sort of files and things. In our case, really all we're interested though for this is using the shell itself. I don't need to use the file that it created for me. And what you need to do is you need to run the command git, which is a revision control system command, which is going to allow us to, in our case, clone a particular repository, make a copy of them. So if I now paste in the web address of where I got that from, what that's effectively going to do is go to that site. It's going to make a copy of all of the files that were on there in the current sort of directory that I'm in now. If you've not used command line interface before. If you wish to see your files, you can type in ls, which is short for list. You can also, actually here you can see it's created a folder for me called BashCrawl, but if I type in ls, it shows me all of the files and folders here, and BashCrawl is a folder, so I'm going to change directory into that directory, BashCrawl, like so. And if I list all of the files that are in here, you will see we've got an entrance, a license, and a README. The README has got lots of instructions here. This is just a copy of this sort of file here, and gives you an overview of the sort of game and what you do with it. Essentially, what you need to do though is you go into the directory, or room as they're called in the game, called entrance. One of the things that most terminals support is auto-completing, so you can see if I've got half of this typed in, I can press the tab key and that will look in the current working directory to see a list of all of the files and folders in there and auto-complete for us. So I'm now in the room called entrance, and again I can list all of these. If I do ls with a -f on it, it will also show me which things are folders with a slash, and then it would have an asterisk if it was a program. You can see here I've got a text file, or I've got a file called scroll, and the idea of the game is you are going to view the scroll files that are in each of the rooms, and it will give you some instructions. And as you can see, it's telling us a little bit here about the ls and cd commands that we've just talked about. So from the entrance room we're in, if we list, you will see that there is a room called the cellar. So again, I'll use auto-complete and move into that room and list all of my files again, and we've got, so let me just do that. Oops. Okay, we can see here we've got, I'll do an ls with -f again. We've got a folder called Armory, we've got a file called Scroll, and we've got a executable file called Treasure. We can see that with the asterisk. So once again, I will I'll view the scroll, I'll read the scroll, and it gives us some instructions. In fact, it tells us a little bit about how we can use the flag -F with the ls command to display that little bit of extra information about the types of files. And then it also tells us to get going with the game, it would be useful if we made what's called an alias. And an alias is basically a way of sort of copying or overwriting something so that we can how do I paste in here? I'm going to do paste. So it's going to make an alias. So ls, that command now, is actually going to run not just the normal ls command, but it's going to run ls with that flag every time. So I don't need to do -f on there anymore. It's doing it for us. And that's kind of it to a certain extent. You can see we can sort of move now into the Armory room, and we can do the same again, and we can see again once we've got some different things, we can check the scroll, and it's going to give us more instructions. So the first one here is this idea of we can run the .treasure file. So in order to do that in a shell, if you put the dot, that means this current directory, and then we can say we want it to run the file that is in here. So just by putting the name of the file, it is to run it, and the dot tells us that that file / is in this folder. So it's just sort of run a command, it's done something, and it's told us some new things we need to do about creating an environment variable. And that's really the idea of the game. From here, I won't do any more and sort of spoil your fun. I'll let people go away and play the game and see how you get on. Hope you enjoyed the video.